Hello everyone and welcome back to Wargame Red Dragon. We have an absolutely devastatingly brutal game for you guys today, but before all that I just want to say, recently I've been able to roughly predict the number of views on a video based off of the likes inside of the first 2 hours, so it would really be doing me a big favor if you guys considered giving a like, a share, a subscribe, all of that standard YouTuber nonsense. So I'm headed toward Bravo, Echo, and Foxtrot, and I'm bringing my, well, rather comfortable at this point South African Moto deck, and I don't know, it's undergoing constant refinement, but my ally, Real Puneta Ours, is headed toward Delta and Charlie, and this looks really bad. So it's a T-72 BU, Jaeger 90 Enjoyers moving a pretty heavy push toward Bravo, and I have my own, but Rurocat 105s can't stand up to a T-70 BU and a T-80 UM stacked together, so that is a little bit rough indeed. And then my helicopter's already taking fire from a Tunguska, and on this side we have Core pushing through Fox and Echo, so I'm handling the brunt right now of 2 players, and this is interesting because usually you don't see that on this map. Usually you see a heavy investment into Charlie with good reason. Peace Run comes in, tries to take a pot shot at these super heavy tanks, but unfortunately only lands one of its missiles and is going to be leaving. But, well, not exactly the fun way either. But I have a Rurocat 76 up here. We do have some hold in the town, although it's a little bit of a sloppy hold right now. I'm just a little bit overwhelmed trying to get everything unloaded. And I even have some stuff here up on the far side, some Buffaloes, Powder Pathfinders, Caspian Mark IIs. These guys, they're no longer in the deck, but I was giving them a try. I was curious how well the HK-21 would do against similar sorts of infantry. So Apollo takes out my Rurocat 76, and now I'm in just pure defensive mode because, yeah, I got smacked. On the other hand, Delta is pretty clearly in our possession. Charlie has been really nicely pushed by Puneta, who had a couple of cheap helicopters, the Bow 105P BSHs, and then a PH-2 Tiger, and most of the bows were, I believe, killed by a Tunguska back here, but MX-10 RCs are now in and through. That's a lot of direct fire right on Jaeger 90 Enjoyer stuff, and we're fighting out here kind of okay. So Buffaloes versus VDV 90. The advantage to the Buffaloes is 15 strength per card, but only 1 card, so that is a little bit rough. Cheetah D is coming in, and I was hoping to get the Book M1 or the Tunguska. I get neither, but my Buccaneer does get 1 tank, and then second missile, third missile off on the way, and we're almost going to ram that T-72 BU, get very, very close to that. Oh, that's kind of goofy. But unfortunately no second kill, so it was still worth it. Taking out one of the super heavies does of course pay back the Buccaneer, and this deck, by the way, has 4 of them because I like Buccaneers. But meanwhile, on the left hand side, my Bogamach are getting chewed through. I believe that's how they're, yeah, B-U-R-G-E-R-M-A-G, yeah, well, yeah, close enough. And the Rattel ZT-3A1's trying to get out of the way while I'm bringing up an Oliphant, a Casper K-Car, and a bit more of direct fire to this side, trying to stave off a steady advance from the Core. And this is one thing. So, just looking back at it, I think Core had more than enough stuff here to have pushed me way earlier, and he should have. Because you have Jaeger 90 in a bit of a grind on this side, losing a super heavy of all things, potentially even losing some anti-air and some infantry, and then he has all of this stuff to deal with in Charlie, so Jaeger cannot make it into a pit fight in Bravo for the win, which means that from the Red Fort perspective, Core has to push forward, he has to clear Fox, he has to pressure Gulf. He basically has to make me invest everything onto this front, and that way Jaeger 90 isn't really challenged in Bravo. There's no chance of a center push, and no chance of, well, the load becoming just way too heavy. So Cheetah D is coming in, and unfortunately I do spot the Book M1, but I'm a little bit too far away, wrong angle to shoot, so my Cheetah D is trying to move out, and now we have Parapathfinders going in against VDV 90 as that L18 is trying to get a kill here, missile on the way, but I do get out just in time. Oliphant was able to stabilize this, but Core's into Foxtrot and the town, and this is a death knell for this side of the board, so I was kind of sitting there going, well, shit. However, this is a death knell for Charlie. I mean, look at this. There's a recoilless rifle jeep, a bunch of AMX-10 RCs, some VABs with autocannons, chasseurs, AMX-10 RCs on this side as well, lots of scouting, lots of direct fire, and maybe the only thing it's a little bit light on is anti-air. But there's a Fliegerfoss team back here. I'd like to see a couple more of those moving forward, and my 24K is a little bit of a weird pick, but sorry for the perpetual problemas, but I was just getting some Bergamot up into this section to hold, as an M91 Vihor and a T-72M are pushing right through my center. And the Oliphant can't handle that. It's a Vihor, for goodness sake. There's no way. What I would have liked to have done on my end is I would have liked to have gotten some Buffaloes up this way. You know what? I can't stand that problema, so we're going to switch over to Punyetta's field of view, and he did actually get some recon in here just briefly, and we were able to spot the enemy fob, as well as, just for a hot second, the enemy command vehicle. So in the meantime, everything here is going to be scooching up, at least on the left-hand side. He's trying to cut off the town, but being justifiably conscious of the Mi-24K. Lots of rocket pods, they're only 2 HE power, but that still will smack infantry and lightly armored vehicles, and there's really just not enough anti-air pushing forward. So I think the Fliegerfaust are back here to prevent any sort of helo rush on the far town. It is a common guess area for, well, for command vehicles and things like that. And we're going to switch now. We're going to take things a little bit hog wild here and go over to Core's perspective. Now, you've just seen what I have here. I have a couple of Bergamach, I have a couple of Bergamach over this side, I have a single 60-point tank, and all of this stuff is held for Core. So there's a Sava, there's a V-Horse. Sava's way too far forward without infantry support, by the way. Proletariat, Graniciari, T-72M, and so much more pressure could be coming around the side right now, and it just isn't. So T-72M on the high ground is a nice pick, but Foxtrot really should be capped at this point. Orao is coming in, and this is nice, so Core is trying to support his teammates, and the Orao is a decent bomber, so my Bokop and SASF are going to get kind of hurt, but honestly, that's interesting. He shot the gap. My Bokop are largely fine, my SASF are largely fine. He bombed right in between the two. So the Orao does kind of bomb in a line, and you have to be aware of that. On this side, we have from Jaeger 90 Enjoyer an Mi-28, a 24K, and a T-72B, and this might have been a little bit of a case of helicopter panic buying. So, pretty common, happens all the time, but you need stuff on the ground to grind back that advantage. The air can help, it's a force multiplier, but you can multiply by 0 by whatever you want. It's not really going to solve your issue for you. And now the pressure is coming in a bit more, double T-72M, but Puneta, now that he's secure over on my side, and we'll actually switch back over, I believe, my side of the board, is helping me out in Foxtrot. And if we take a look, there's no reason not to. We're taking out a +3. Even if we lose Foxtrot, that'll stay at a +2, because we have both of the +2 zones, and this is a very, very, very heavy hold. Also in the center we have Para Pathfinders, we have Bokop, Rutel 20s, Casper K-Cars, SEF 90. It's going to be very hard to get stuff between these two and attack Delta without us knowing and without us being able to handle the situation. So as far as we're concerned, this side of the map is largely closed off, and that's a real problem. However, SCSF are up here now, and the LRAC is pretty decent, especially when supported by a couple of Bokop 90. We do get a kill on a tank there, and I'm now trying to head over and handle those militia, as Chasseurs, Vabs, and Recoilless Rifle Jeeps are retaking this town. So I didn't expect to retake the town at all. I was kind of impressed by the approach here. A little bit extra smoke probably would have been nice, but he's smoking off the important stuff, and actually just creating a straight wall between the woods and the town on that side, and I really wish they decreased the frequency of the South African infantry and units responding. It's way too high. Su-24M going in, Rurokat trying to move up to intercept, and a Canberra is coming in as well, trying to bomb everything here to make sure that we don't run into trouble. But honestly, we didn't take too bad of a toll there. Again, the enemy bombing didn't really seem to be that effective. Meanwhile, those Proletariat are gone. They're just eviscerated. And the Canberra got out kind of okay. It's 15 strength, it won't guarantee that you survive, but it certainly does help. And I need to get a second Rurokat, so that purchase is on the way. It just, one of these isn't a guaranteed kill on planes, so you do need a bit more of a determined anti-air net, I guess is the word that I would use, determined, more than anything else. So, let's see what we've got. More planes coming in, and I don't know, the bomber pressure was consistent, I'll give him that. The thing is, now that Orao is taking fire, one missile away, second missile swinging a miss, this is why I need two, or at least something to support it. The third one does get the kill. A couple of cheap guns nearby would have gotten the last little bit of chip damage as well, but at this point when we cap Bravo this with some Führungsgruppe from Puneta, yeah, I'm losing infantry on this side, but Pathfinders can hold for a bit. SASF 90 are very, very obstinate infantry indeed, and it's sort of going to be game over for our opponents as we get to a +4, and this match draws to a close. So, thank you all for hanging around, and we'll see you again real soon.